To begin with football, the Confederation of African Football has modified the minimum number of players allowed to start a match in its competitions to 11 as COVID-19 continues to wreak havoc on the game. This comes after several clubs and national teams were affected by the infections in recent continental fixtures. CGTN's Adel Mahrouky reports now from Cairo.
Since CAF announced its COVID-19 requirements last November, national and club sides across the continent have borne the brunt of the coronavirus. Several teams failed to raise the previous minimum requirement of 15 players, among them a registered goalkeeper, who tests negative for the disease. Accordingly, CAF has decided to ease the requirement after the second wave of the pandemic swept Africa.
CAF tried to copy the regulations of other continental confederations. Despite being a global trend, in Africa, things weren't moving smoothly. The North African Under-20 qualifiers saw the first major crisis. I believe it's an important decision that will save African football, especially after the pandemic's impact on club competitions.
It's a very late decision from CAF. Had it been taken earlier, we would have avoided many delays. Like last year's Champions League semi-final between Zamalek and Raja. The competition would have ended earlier and we could have avoided the hectic schedule Africa is witnessing this season. We would also have avoided the many withdrawals we've seen in the Confederations Cup and Champions League because of COVID-19.
CAF is now requiring teams to only have 11 healthy players to play a continental game. If all goalkeepers in a team test positive, the Confederation says any outfield player can replace them.
CAF is looking at this crisis from an economic perspective. The revenues lost from competitions. Every cancelled match equals less money from sponsors. CAF is trying to avoid that, so it could assure a steady flow of finances to at least complete this football season. So it's exclusively financial. 11 players with no goalkeeper gives no indication that the technical aspect is considered at all.
COVID-19 infections have seen last season's interclub knockout stages postponed for months. Egypt's team was disqualified from the North African qualifiers of the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations due to the previous regulations. The new rules come amid allegations of biased PCR testing in CAF Champions League and Confederation Cup matches. CAF has made a compromise in the number of players to avoid another African football lockdown, but that might not be enough to face the second wave of the pandemic. Some African countries have imposed restrictions for travel. Others are forcing a long-term quarantine for inbounding international flights, and that will definitely clash with CAF's tight football schedule. Adel Mahrouky, CGTN, Cairo.